Welcome back. There you are now. Like I said, our main game here, the assistance, is the approach. How are you going to go about? In other words, what do you have in front of you? That's what matters. There's a combination of, you can start by say isolating here, you see a straight line. That's a straight line. Here you see another straight line. You see, they might look so too many of them. Here you've got another straight line, but now you've got two unknowns, therefore you cannot even start here. Here you've got your straight line. Therefore, again, like I said, it's a given. In other words, talk to us of what you have in front of you. 120 plus x on a straight line, for them to make 180, what is your x? X is 60 degrees. Y and 180 on a straight line. For them to give you 180, what is the value of y? 100 degrees. Again, angles on a straight line. For your angles to make 180, what is the value of z? Z should be 120 degrees. Rad, but W, we don't have a straight line. So, but what is the relationship of W? W, in other words, we need to get this angle. Because we've got two unknowns, we need to get this angle. But how do you get this angle? This angle is inside a quadrilateral. Therefore, we say that angle, this one, let's call it A, plus 60 degrees, plus 80 degrees, plus 120 degrees, should give you 360. Again, quadrilateral relationship, properties. How does this relate with this one and this one? Mathematics is a relationship subject. 60 plus 180 is 140 plus 120 is 260. 140 plus 120 is 260 degrees equals to 360 degrees. Therefore, your A is equals to 100 degrees. That is your A. It's 100 degrees. But let's remember, what was the question looking for? Let's remember the question. We are looking for W. Therefore, W plus A should give you 180. W plus A is equals to 180 degrees. W plus A is 180 degrees. We have just calculated that the A is 100 degrees. Therefore, W is equals to 80 degrees. All right. Now the question was saying the value, when we add x plus y plus z plus w, what is the value? All right. W just found out is 80 degrees. All right. Your x is 60 degrees. Your y is 100 degrees. Your z 120 degrees. And then you just add the total. 220 plus 80, 300. 220, okay, 60 degrees. Plus 220 degrees. Plus 80 degrees. 80 plus 220 is 300. In other words, all in all, is 360 degrees. So it tells us also something. The internal 360, the exterior also is 360. We've got some learning there. We all learn all the time. We call it lifelong learning. Right. Let's look at this one now. Again, you analyze. What do you have? What is the situation in front of you? right? The value of x. So lots of opportunities here to look at, to do your equations. We can start with this one. Straight line. What do we have? A straight line. 2x plus 100 plus 80 degrees minus 2x will be equal to 180 degrees, which is 180 degrees equals to 180 degrees because 2x minus 2x is a 0.